Hey everybody, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup in this beginner caster guide with our Ogre Venom Mage. And we are 16th level, raring to go. We have cleared the lair, the swamp to get our first rune, and the Orcish mines. And I think it's time for us to go to the spider's nest. Let me make sure I can see invisible. I can. Perfect. When you're going to the spider's nest, you want two things. Resist poison, and you want see invisible. Beyond that, you also want to be able to deal with orb spiders and emperor scorpions, but that's another game. Those are usually a little bit deeper. So on the first floor, our poison should do very well for us. We just need to avoid getting blasted by too many orbs of destruction. A shield would help with that. And so I could consider wearing my kite shield of reflection, for example. And then my spells would be garbage. 50% on Iron Shot. Or I could take off this kite shield and have a 9% fail on Iron Shot. Now, I could also just level up my shield skill. And I think that that's a very interesting possibility. And I believe that we're going to do that once I finish off this armor manual. I'm still getting a benefit from the armor manual. And leveling this up will help additionally. Because we're wearing these Pearl Dragon scales. And so the higher our armor skill, the more AC we get from it, but also the less it will impact the casting of our spells. So that's helping us. Now here's an electric eel. You always want to use a wand of flame on an electric eel if you have it. It's like the #1 use for the wand of flame, because hitting an enemy that is in water with the wand of flame will not only hit the enemy, but create these steam clouds that you see on the screen, which also do damage. So this dude is getting wrecked. And there he is. And now he's back, but he's almost dead. And we'll just give him another blast, and he's gone. Let me just give this worker ant stone arrow. I'm going to pick up this scroll of amnesia. That's pretty helpful. And then I said I was going to the spider's nest and not deeper in the dungeon. Although deeper in the dungeon is also fine for right now. Now that we've got our first room, we can push beyond dungeon 12 a bit if we want. And again, remember, it's always just going by feel. You never want to force something. You never want to create some kind of prescribed path in this game where you do this branch this, in this order, and then you go to this branch, and then, everything works. It's good to have a loose idea of which branches to do and in what order, what runes to go after first. For example, don't go after the slime rune first. That's not a good idea. But when you are doing the standard path, going for the easier branches, going down to the main dungeon in certain stages, even with that information, the composition of enemies on a particular level or in a particular branch, when compared to your character's skills, equipment, strengths, and weaknesses, might make it so you can't do things in the normal order, and you need to just venture around and do things a little more open and haphazardly in order to get yourself strong enough to go forward. So sometimes you have to feel it out. So for example, right now, I'm actually just going to feel out the spider's nest. And if I get blasted by a bunch of orbs of destruction, then I might leave. We'll see how it works. If I can kill the guys fast enough, then I won't. Let's see. Iron Shot is I, so let's just give this guy Iron Shot, or try to. I'm just going to give him Stone Arrow because my Iron Shot wasn't working. Alright. Now, large rocks, actually, are an okay thing to pick up. You're an ogre, so you can actually handle large rocks, and they do a ton of damage if you can hit people. So there's nothing wrong with carrying large rocks. I have these javelins as well. Just if you need to hit something far away and you're out of MP or something like that. Alright, so we're going to go to the spider nest. Here we are. And Demonic Crawler and Tarantula. Let's just go ahead and do our Toxic Radiance. This is going to be a big winner for us. Let's see. Let me put a cloud up here and then just ignite it. This Demonic Crawler doesn't care about poison. So we need to think about another way to kill it, and I think Stone Arrow will do it. It's going to be a kind of Stone Arrow adventure here. Obviously, we could do Iron Shot, but it's expensive, and we're not that great with it yet. Plus, most of these enemies aren't the strongest in the world. I'm going to go ahead and Toxic Radiance. There's 2 wolf spiders. Let's just give them a bunch of poison and then just ignite them. And Stone Arrow to finish. Just got to throw a javelin at that guy. Stone Arrow. Demonic Crawlers can hit hard, and they're big, but they don't have range. They're not that bad. Stone Arrow. Alright. Those translucent windows are kind of messing us up just a bit. Where did this spider go? Alright. I'm going to get my javelin. Okay, so actually, forget everything I said about Emperor Scorpions being lower in the spider's nest. Here's one on the first floor. So sometimes this happens. Now, luckily, because we're 16th level at this point, this guy is only rating at a yellow to us, but let me show you him. He's resistant to poison, which is annoying for us, but he's giant. He can sting you, poisoning you, and can claw you twice. So he has his big pinchers and he has his tail. So he does a lot of damage, but the main thing is he has a lot of hit points, 119, and then look at his armor class rating when you look right here. He's got 4 pips for armor class, which is massive, and he also somehow evades very well. So he's just a really sturdy enemy that can poison you and hit hard, so he's quite annoying. Any spells that you have that check armor class to determine their damage are going to be very bad against this guy. You can always go to the wiki, the Dungeon Crawl wiki, or go to the Dungeon Crawl Discord and use Sarabot or the other bots that are in the server to check a spell's information to see if it uses armor class or not, just to know what spells might be more effective. Anyway, I'm going to kind of pull this guy. I'm just going to start walking backward to give myself an escape route if I'm going to kill this mosquito. And then I'm going to just go like this, taking this guy with me. And we're not going to shake him, obviously. He moves at the same speed that we do. But now I can run away if I need to. I will take him with me out of the spider's nest and back into the main dungeon. Actually, or the lair, I should say. But that doesn't matter. That's fine. We just have to budget the health that we'll take leaving into the equation. But now we can just face him and get a feel for how hard he is with our spell set and our abilities one-on-one. So what spells could I cast on this guy? Sandblast is absolutely no, because that definitely checks against armor class. We'll look at Stone Arrow and Iron Shot. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and give him an Iron Shot, and 2 Iron Shots, 3, 4, and then we've hit him really hard, but we miscast, we're getting hungry. Remember, Iron Shot makes us incredibly hungry, so I'm just going to go ahead and cast some Stone Arrow and see how that does, and we killed him. So what I kind of did there was I just used Iron Shot in the beginning to soften him up, and then used my more efficient spell once we were winning, and we could afford to do that. The other thing that's nice about that is you can start to see, check your hit points and check your magic points, and if things are getting too bad against the enemy, then it's time to bail. Like, if I wasn't getting good hits on him and he started just wrecking me health-wise, I would just run away. Alright, so let's keep exploring. And we'll blast this guy a bit. And some demonic crawlers want to come out. That's fine. Let me just walk them back this way. Ooh, we're getting all of them. Okay, so this is fun. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to step and step. Man, they are being very, very smart about not going in the line. Now we got them. Alright, I just wanted to get 1 javelin on them. That's funny. Okay. There's no place for me that I can see right now to create a choke point where it's just 1 guy at a time. The best I can do is 2 at a time. Ouch. Okay, so I'm going to start doing that here. I have 32 MP, and let's just see how this goes. But before we do that, let me look at my wands, see if there's anything nice that would help me here. Let me look at my spells. I do have Fireball. Let me just check these guys. Yeah, they're resistant to fire and cold and electricity and poison. So it's going to be stone arrows. It's going to be, you know, earth damage. A hellish insectoid creature with a long and bloated body, supported by dozens of short jointed legs, and topped with an almost human head. That's the stuff of nightmares. So let me just cast an Iron Shot. Oof. I miscast it, and then that guy came in to flank me. So I'm going to do this, and then just fight this guy one-on-one with Stone Arrow outside. And then we're just going to heal up completely. When I go back in, there's going to be two dudes waiting for us, and we just have to understand that that's happening. They already hit us, okay? And so I'm going to just Iron Shot. And that time we did a lot of damage. I'm going to do it again to just focus fire one of these guys down very quickly, because now I can just Stone Arrow and not worry. One-on-one, a demonic crawler isn't hard. Just 3 of them at once is not ideal. So we had to kind of do some serious maneuvers. I'm blasting this guy with the Wand of Flame, and he's gone. Stone Arrow this dude. Redback. Okay, fine. I'll just give him... Oh, I can't actually... That's funny. Oh my god. Okay. So there's Nicola. We do have resist electricity, which is huge, but we want to fight him away from these walls if we can, to the best of our ability. So here he comes. Let me just check Nicola. What do you do? Okay, unfortunately for Nicola, he is not resistant to poison, so I'm going to just Toxic Radiance. And then we're going to put a cloud on him. And then I'm going to ignite poison. And I'm going to toxic radiance again. He's almost dead. He's standing in the fire. He has a bunch of clouds on him. I'm going to cast Iron Shot. Now remember, he's very hard. He's red. Look at the threat. And the main thing about Nicola is he does electric damage. If you have resist electricity, you're going to take half the damage, which is super helpful. If you don't, you should be very afraid of this guy. And the other thing you need to be worried of is electricity. Lightning bolts bounce off of walls and can hit you more than once. And you can get just absolutely obliterated by a rebounding shot. So standing here, he could fire something, and there's a chance that it could bounce off and hit me again. But it's much better than if I were... I had a wall directly behind me, for example, where there's a 100% chance that it's going to do that. Anyway, I'm going to cast Iron Shot on him, and we wounded him severely, and I'm going to cast one more Iron Shot on him, and then I'm just going to ignite. He has 3 ticks of poison. Let's just ignite that, and he'll die. All right, so yeah, we did 4 exclamation points worth of damage with that. So that was just a complete destruction of that guy. And he usually has a weapon of electricity. I think actually he always has that. But the rest of his gear was of no consequence, so that's too bad. But we killed him, which is the important thing. Nicola is a tough customer, a tough unique. Luckily we have good resists, so not that big of a deal. I'm going to eat a ration, and I'm going to start just pegging away at this demonic crawler. We do have a Emperor Scorpion here, so I'm going to walk away, let that jumping spider die from my toxic radiance, and I'm going to just kind of take this Emperor Scorpion up here for a bit. Then one of the things you can do as a spellcaster is you're both positioning yourself so that you are in a safe place to engage an enemy. So I'm walking away from that unknown area of the map back to areas that I've explored, and there's much less chance of an enemy being there. I think it's actually probably a 0 chance given the layout of this map, the narrowness of the corridors, and the fact that I've explored it all. And also, while you're walking backwards, as long as the enemy isn't faster than you and getting free hits on you, you are regenerating magic points. You can see I have 30. Now I have 31. Okay? And then I have 32 now. What this does is it gives you more spells. And so once you feel like, okay, I'm at a good hit point place, I'm in a safe area to engage the enemy, and I have enough magic, then you can just go ahead and start to fight. And I will. I'm going to just Iron Shot this dude a couple of times and see how it goes. It is not going well. At all. So I'm going to... what do you think about electricity? He has no resistance to electricity. So I'm going to try this. And I'm going to try it again. I'm going to use all of my charges of my Lightning Rod on this guy, just to see how much damage we can do. And remember, Lightning Rod does more damage the more successive times you use it. And so we don't have any charges left, but we did do a substantial amount of damage to this guy and didn't use any magic points. Now I'm just going to try to cast Stone Arrow on him to finish him off. We are really poisoned, so I'm going to drink a potion of curing to get rid of the poison. And we actually only have 3 magic points left, and this guy is still here. This is the tricky thing about Emperor Scorpions, which is that they have a lot of hit points. All right, so I'm going to give him a Wand of Acid, and it kills him. Wand of Acid is probably the best wand in the game for just dealing damage. Wand of Clouds is also excellent, but it's better against a group of enemies, and it has some variability. You don't know which kind of cloud you're going to get. Wand of Acid is great against a line of enemies or a single enemy, and most enemies in the game are not resistant to acid. So if they So it has a very, very good chance to just do a ton of damage. And it's a great backup when you run out of magic points like I just did. Alright, let's keep exploring. And let's just peg these dudes. Actually, let me... oh, I'm confused. Okay, I'm just going to hit them until I become unconfused. And I'm just going to use Toxic Radiance and Ignite... Oh, no. Sorry, Ignite Poison. Oh, I'm confused again. Well, it doesn't matter. Now we can Ignite Poison. When you're confused, you can't use spells, obviously. Just remember, you can quaff a potion of curing at any point to get unconfused. I didn't care because I was still radiating my poison, and those were not very tough enemies. But if it was an emergency, potion right away. My pack is full. Huh. Oh, okay, let's read... Oh, wow. I have a bunch of good stuff on me that I didn't even know about. That's terrific. This is something that happens when you are using Auto Explorer, is that you'll often pick things up and not be aware of it. So it's always good to just check into your inventory. I have 5 scrolls of Identify, so let me just identify these rings that I got. Ring of Fire and Cursed Ring of Teleportation. I'm going to drop both of these. Cursed Ring of Teleportation, Ring of Fire. Get rid of those. Then I'm going to read my Scroll of Acquirement. Interesting. So, the Amulet of the Genius gives me magic resistance and intelligence, which is pretty good. But then it makes me vulnerable to fire and gives me Acrobat. So, Acrobat is okay. It's plus 15 evasion when you're not attacking. It's pretty good for a spellcaster. A Book of Hexes is not interesting. A Staff of Energy I already have or have dropped. 950 gold pieces is actually not bad, and the food will never take. So, remember, with the new Scroll of Acquirement, you get these choices, but you can just push Escape and not take anything and inform yourself before you make your decision. So, for example, what I'm going to do is just click on my character, and my amulet is Faith and Intelligence plus 4. I don't have Resist Fire, so wearing that amulet would make me vulnerable to fire, lower my intelligence, boost my magic resistance 1, which is not insignificant, and then give me Acrobat instead of Faith, which, I mean, Faith isn't that big of a deal with Vehement, but Acrobat is just not that impressive, and if I take off the amulet that has Faith, I will lose Piety, which is just annoying. So, there's that. I'm going to look at my shopping list. Do I have anything on it? No. I'm going to just then probably take the money. It's not a super amount of money, but it's better than nothing. Alright, and then I have 2 scrolls of Enchant Armor. So I can use those on my shields, and I think I'm going to save them for that reason. Let me look at my skills. Let me look at my spells. Oops. How am I at? Iron Shot is down to 7% right now, which is great. And still makes me really hungry. I'd need to raise spell casting to lower spell hunger. And we'll probably do that at some point. Actually, I might do that now. Spellcasting boosts every spell school by 25% in terms of fail rate, in terms of the rate that a direct skill boost would do, and then helps you with spell hunger and gives you memorization slots for spells. The reason I'm switching is that it's actually cheaper to level spellcasting at this point than Earth Magic or Translocations. And so I'm right now just trying for efficiency. All right, we have an Entropy Weaver on the screen, which is a bummer. And he's corroding us already. So I'm just using Toxic Radiance. I'm just going to Ignite Poison. Entropy Weaver is a very, very difficult enemy because they corrode you, and corrosion is brutal. I don't have Resist Corrosion equipped. We're just going to see what we can do. Now, I don't know why he didn't get affected by my Toxic Radiance, but he is able to be poisoned. So I'm going to poison him, and I'm going to put a cloud on him, and then he got confused. So now we can just Ignite Poison and Stone Arrow him, and he'll die. All right. Let's just go ahead and move around. All right. I'm just going to wait. Stone Arrow this guy down. Phantom Mirror. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Torpor Snail is bad. When that snail is on the screen, he's slowing you. By the way, I'm going to do my Toxic Radiance because all these guys are susceptible to poison. This is why the Spider's Nest is generally not too difficult for a Venom Mage, because most of the enemies, with the notable exception of Emperor Scorpions, Demonic Crawlers, and some others, are immune or resistant to poison. But anyway, we can just Ignite and obliterate these guys. We're getting knowledge of Spellforge Servitor, which we're not going to use. I'm going to poison this guy, and I'm just going to try to confuse him, and we did confuse him. And let's just Ignite Poison, and he'll just wander around confused in the flames until he dies. Jumping Spider. Blast him with Stone Arrow. Now that there's more than one target, I will stop doing single target stuff, and I will, in fact, Toxic Radiance. Okay, so here's our first Orb Spider. It's right there. Luckily, it too can be poisoned, so no problem. We got 2 stacks on it. Let me put a cloud on it. Alright, so we've wrecked this Orb Spider. He didn't even get a chance to use his orb, which is the dangerous thing that he can do. And we'll just Ignite Poison and he'll die. But here comes another Orb Spider. So let me just turn on Toxic Radiance. He's coming through the fire, which is kind of impressive. And I'm just going to blast him with Stone Arrow. And he took so much damage from the poison and wandering through that fire that Ignite should kill him, and it did. So those are 2 of the more dangerous enemies in terms of just pure damage, and we took them out pretty easily with our spell kit. And we did get lucky in that they weren't... that it was a kind of a twisty corridor, and they didn't have a big open space to use their orbs, but that's great. Most of the time, the Spider's Nest has a lot of walls and twists and stuff, so you can get good position. But sometimes it's more open, and Orb Spiders are bigger threats. I'm just going to keep exploring. And I'm going to quaff... How many Potions of Flight do I have? Just 3? Nah. No reason to do that then, just to look around up here to see if there's treasure. I'm going to go ahead and eat a ration, and we're going to park ourselves on the staircase down. And that is the first level of the Spider's Nest, everybody. We are doing great with this character, making solid progress towards our next rune. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the episode here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you have an excellent evening or day. Please ask me any questions you want about this character or the game itself in the comments below. And I will check you guys in the next episode. If you are interested in catching any of me streaming Dungeon Crawl, I typically am doing that on Mondays and Tuesdays right now, but my schedule is subject to change. And to get updates on that, just follow me on Twitch or join our Discord server, the Dr. Incompetent Discord server, by clicking the link on the YouTube banner or just searching for Dr. Incompetent in Discord, and you can get updates on the streaming schedule, and we have a roguelike discussion community there where you can ask questions about the game and just chat with me or others in general about all kinds of good games. All right, everybody. Take care.